This video will focus on the method developed and called pedonation from a technical perspective. In the previous video, we discussed the differences between modern and traditional methods of preservation, disposal, and recycling techniques of coarse treatment. Aquamation, recompose, and pedonation were classified as modern coarse treatment methods. Pedonation has an essential difference with the other methods. One is chemical, the other is biological, but ours is physical. Aquamation is a chemical changing process. Potassium hydroxide changes what's organic to a non-organic mineral solution. Recompose is a biological changing process. Decomposing microorganisms changes complex organic substances to simpler compost. Pedonation is a physical changing process of coarse organic material. The soil-based hygroscopic additive is used to dry up the organic matter and stop bacterial activities. In the human composting method, bacterial decomposition occurs during the process, while in pedonation method, the process occurs in a sterilizing environment unsuitable for any bacterial activities. Since the method completely avoids incineration, chemicals, or decomposition by microorganisms, hygroscopic additives reduce the water content of organic matter during the process. For a better understanding of pedonation, it's important to clarify the dynamic relationship between pedonation and general soil formation. Soil is a mixture of minerals, organic matter, gases, liquids, and microorganisms that together support life. Pedonation has the reverse definition of soil. In brief, pedonation is the artificial integration of only two soil-forming components. The first is organic matter. The second is the soil-based mineral or additives. They form both after dehydration and disinfection process, what we call the pedoné mix. After the burial of pedoné in natural topsoil, soil microbes aerobically decompose the complex organic substances into basic soil micronutrients that soil minerals can retain. As an example, phyllosilicates are excellent mineral additives. The additive's hygroscopic property is essential for the coarse organic materials dehydration process. It's essential as well for soil fertility after pedoné burial. Plant nutrients should be retained and released from soil mineral particles within the normal range. The word pedonation comes from ancient Greek, pedon, which means soil. Pedology is soil science. Pedogenesis is soil formation. And the pedosphere is the outermost layer of the earth composed of soil and subject to soil formation processes. The technical concept of the method is to reduce the water content of the organic matter from almost 70% to less than 7% to stop bacterial spoilage activities. The physical characteristics and the dynamic behavior of the additives used in the method are reversible. They are liquid absorbent in humid conditions. Instead, they release moisture into the atmosphere in dry conditions. Water in the dehydration process of organic material passes in two consecutive paths. The first, cell tissue to additive particles. The second, additive particles to the atmosphere. In the first, water leaves the cell tissues to fill the microscopic spaces between silicate layers of the warm hydrophilic additive particles to form a water-saturated additive. Absorbed water leads to silicate particles expansion. In the second subsequent path, water leaves the additive particle into the atmosphere by dry air. The pedonator is the equipment that carries out the process. A separate video will explain how the pedonator technically works. The approximate time required for the process is 3 hours per 100 kilograms. Generally, these are the main process steps of the pedonator. The corpse is placed in a biodegradable coffin and kept in a morgue freezing unit until it reaches minus 20 degrees Celsius. Later, when the corpse is fully frozen, the coffin is placed in the pedonator, where the biodegradable coffin is automatically filled with oven-dried hygroscopic soil-based additives. The coffin filling process is called preliminary burial because the frozen corpse in the coffin is fully covered with soil-based additives. The filled coffin is inserted automatically into a hydraulic press capsule that quickly transforms the coffin and its contents into an almost homogeneous clay-like paste. Only a powerful, direct, mechanical force can quickly transform human bones into particles measured in millimeters. Human bones can last for hundreds of thousands of years. Archaeologists and paleoanthropologists know this fact very well. The corpse in the pedonator must be fully frozen because only breaking is required in the process rather than squeezing, twisting, or squashing. The applied additive must be warm when added, almost 60 degrees Celsius. This enhances the transformation of water from solid status to humidity and avoids the accumulation of gravitational water and fluids during the thorough mixing. The paste-like particles mixed with water-saturated silicate is spread over a screen belt conveyor. Ozonated dry air blowers are used to dry the mix. Ozone and UV light have a double sterilizing effect and prevent any possible bad smell formation during the process. The pedoné is formed when the mix reaches less than 7% humidity. Pedoné is a dry biofertilizer of natural slow-release soil micronutrients with a suitable cation exchange capacity and can be transformed within weeks after burial into natural soil. The product is sterilized, odorless, usually vacuum-packed, and presented in a sealed biodegradable box. It forms approximately 30% of the original weight and volume of the deceased person's body and is logistically easier to transport. It can be stored for years or even decades in dry conditions, as ancient Egyptian mummies still do. The product can be buried in a pit to plant a memorial sapling or tree, regardless of time and place. In a traditional burial, the coffin is usually kept in a pit under 6 feet. In pedoné burial, a 2-foot pit is deep enough. In the case of small pet pedonation, a large plant pot can be used to bury the pedoné. We discussed in this video the pedonation technique as a new green corpse treatment method. In the following video, we'll explain why we recommend it as a reasonable solution for the environmental problem that the global funeral industry is facing in the 21st century.